Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Aaron, or Ron. Say it out loud. With Average Hero, and welcome to this beautiful day in Southern California. It has been raining and also snowing in the mountains around the valley that I live in, which is in the Palm Springs area. And so I wanted to do a review after having this car just over a month on my 2021 2SS Camaro 1LE. Probably throwing that all out of order. And my impressions of this car about a month in. Now let me give you a little bit of backstory. So I've not had a Camaro before this. I've not had a muscle car before this. The last car that I had was the last muscle car I had was a 1965 Ford Mustang back when I was 19. So it's been a while. My last vehicle was a 2004 Toyota 4Runner, four-wheel drive, V8 too. Great car, 233,000 miles on it, had it for 16 years, the only owner, and just loved it. But I have been wanting to get a Camaro ever since the 5th generation. Hear that beep? We'll talk about that in a little bit. I've been wanting to get a Camaro ever since the 5th generation, and just waiting for the planets to align, and that happened right at the end of 2020. So it was a nice cap to the end of a pretty crazy year. So coming to something like this not only was my dream, but it's completely different to what I was driving before. Anyway, I would like to give you my impression of this vehicle and how much the various things that I love about it, and some of the things not so great. Or they're just like, I think that they could have maybe done something a little bit different with. So I'm not going to do a top 5, bottom 5 with, my impressions of the car. I'm just going to it'll be a list, but it's not necessarily going to have an even number. Yes, I'm liking this right here. So I get to do a little bit of twisty driving, and hopefully you guys will get to enjoy that. Anyway, so my first pro, I'm going to call it pros and cons, right? My first pro for the 2SS, or just the SS 1LE, is going to be the look. The look of this car is amazing. It was the thing that really made me want to buy it back when I had seen it in the late 5th generations. And so the thing about this look, all the way from the wrapped hood to the rims to the front splitter, the lip on the back, just the way the aggressiveness of the rims look, the stance, it just looks like it means business, and it's not here to play. It's not going to mess around. And so that was really, even over just a standard SS, the look that I was wanting. I like the black accents. I like how they really styled the 1LE that way. And really any color that you get with the 1LE, even the shock and some of the brighter colors. Now they have the wild cherry tint coat, I believe, this 2021 year. So they all look good with the black accents. I liked the color I got, which I'll talk about here in a minute. Which brings us to my second pro is the color. And the colors in general, right? Like I said, Chevy goes bold with some of their colors, like the shock color. Those of you that have the shock, you know, or that you've had the bright green, I don't know if it's rally green or what it was in the past years, like, more power to you. The courage you guys have to drive those vehicles, that color is awesome. I wanted something a little more stealth-like. I settled on the Satin Steel. But I settled on the Satin Steel mainly because this color, in certain lights, almost looks like it has a pearl to it. So it's a really neat color, depending on the daytime, depending on the night, and how it just looks under certain lights. And then again, accented with the black, it just looks amazing. The third pro that I like about the SS models, as well as the 1LE, is the sound. A dual mode exhaust is amazing, especially when you start it up, cold start. It just, red-blooded American, I don't know what you would call it. It's one of those things that just makes you feel good. Can't help but put a smile on your face when you hear that. The other thing I like about the dual mode exhaust is the snap, crackles, and pops, you know, the Rice Krispies of the exhaust. They engineered more in the later 6 generations than the previous ones, and I know they probably engineered that. It's a little more artificial than, you know, like something if you had a cammed vehicle or something like that, but I think it's awesome. I love the sound of it, and maybe something that I upgrade in the future is the exhaust, but for now, it's just stock. I think it does great. So the next positive or pro that I have for this car, so the SS models, 1LE models, is the power of the motor, the V8, the LT1 more specifically. This thing just gets up and moves. So it does not, like I said, does not play around. And that's one of those things that I love, especially coming from the vehicle I had prior. So when I want to stomp on it, it gets me where I want to go real fast, and that can get you in trouble. I've already passed a couple highway patrols, and so it's something I got to be careful of, because I've had some speeding tickets in my past. But I love the power. So this brings me to the next pro, and that's the handling. The handling of the 1LE with the track package, the 1LE suspension is amazing. Being able to corner like this is on rails, as well as having the different modes, the different drive modes between touring mode, which is a little bit of a softer feel, softer steering, to the sport mode, changes the exhaust note. It also changes the way the vehicle just rides, as well as, you know, steers. And then track mode too. Track mode gets real aggressive with that, and there's a lot of performance things that you can change within track mode as well. So, but the handling is really nice, and the way this car just hugs you, which I'll talk about in my next point, you just feel one with the road and one with the vehicle, and that's something that I really like. The next pro, which I alluded to earlier, is more in relation to the interior of the vehicle. It's the fit and feel is what I say. So, fit and feel, what do I mean by that? So the fit, I feel like this driver position that I'm driving from right now is just made for me. The Recaro seats, the bolsters, the way the seat hugs you know, your hips, your sides, everything, and then you can get the steering wheel in, you know, the position that's just right for you. I feel like it's just, I feel that much more a part of the vehicle. It makes the driving experience so much nicer, when you feel like you're a part of the vehicle and not like you're trying to manipulate the vehicle into doing something that it doesn't want to do. So fit and feel. It does fit a wide variety of body types, which I think is great for a sport car, a muscle car. My wife is 5'4", and she's able to drive this vehicle. She drove it a couple weeks back. She had the seat pretty far forward, and she had it at the height she wanted to. So she was able to drive it with ease. I'm 6 foot, about 165, 170 pounds on any given day. And I have the seat mostly all the way back. Actually, it is all the way back and almost on the floor. But I feel comfortable with that driving position. If you're taller than me, it might start to get a little tight with the legs. And so that'd be something you might just have to adjust, in time. The next pro that I have for this car is going to be the technology. I also might get some criticism for this because some people, when talking about on the forums what they would like in a 7th generation Camaro, if that was going to be a possibility by Chevy, it sounds doubtful, was less technology. I actually like the technology. Again, I'm coming from a 2004 Toyota 4Runner, which really, the height of the technology I had in that was a CD player and a cassette player. So now I am still learning some of the systems in this car, but especially with the 2SS model, you're going to have more technology than you would with the 1SS. I'll probably have a video that might compare what the 1SS and 2SS offer, or what this car has in it. But I will do some highlights. So, some of the technology that I do love in this car is with the 2SS, it has the blind spot monitoring. So being able to see just at a glance the little icon light up in my mirror, and if I'm going to change lanes and it's got something in my blind spot, it's going to blink and beep at me telling me, nope, don't do it. I do like the heads-up display. I like having that in my field of vision. Now, I will say one negative to the heads-up display. I always wear polarized sunglasses, and maybe regular sunglasses do it too, but it's really dim in the sunlight with sunglasses on. The other part of the technology, of course, is this whole center console. Being able to do CarPlay, I have an iPhone, so it's nice to be able to utilize that, the stuff that's right on my phone, using Siri and voice activation to text people, call people, like that. I love that because I don't have to pick up my phone at all when I am driving this car anywhere. So it just helps me be more safe. The other part, there's a lot within the console on the technology piece that you can go through different settings to see, what you want to look at and really tailor it to your specifications. The Bose sound system sounds amazing. I haven't had a sound system like that in any car, and so listening to that real rich sound in the coupe, I believe it's 9 speakers, and I want to say 7 in the convertible throughout the cabin. So definitely pretty awesome. The Bose system comes with the 2SS. Yeah, there's some of the things that are just, nice little things is the seal plates light up, Camaro, when you open the door. The Spectrum lighting is pretty cool. I will say that's nice. That doesn't come on the 1SS. Again, don't need to have it, but it is nice to have. So I like, being able to change the lighting, or it'll change in the drive mode depending on what you're in. So I think that's kind of a techie thing. But here's the thing. Some people criticize having the amount of technology that this car has and want less of it. My take on that is, if you want a car with less technology, this is 2021 now, right? And you want a muscle car, or a sport car, whatever you're going to categorize this as, and you're gonna have to go back. You're gonna have to go back to more, older year. Go with the 60s or 70s. You're paying about the same price. So go with something that's more of like a true muscle car that doesn't have, all the electrical stuff in it, doesn't have the smog, issues that the newer vehicles, and not issues, but technology. You hear those snaps. So that would be my thing, but any new car is going to come with more and more technology, so it's just going to be what it is. So let's talk about the cons, or maybe the negatives to the car. And really, in my opinion, they're minor, not enough to deter you from buying this car. So the first one that I was not used to is the skip shift. The skip shift, when I first went for my first drive in this car, not having driven a manual in a while, it definitely brought on some confusion when it popped up, shift from 1 to 4. That was something that I did not know a lot about, and so I had to research. But as I started driving the car more, it wasn't something that was a factor for me anymore, because typically when I shift from first to second, I'll get up to anywhere between 18 and 20 miles per hour before I go into second. So around 3,500 RPMs. There are some skip shift eliminators that you can plug in line off of your transmission so that it doesn't give you that. You'll still get the light, but it doesn't give the little blocking tab to keep you from doing that. And the whole reason the skip shift was done, it's been in manual It's been in manual transmissions for a while now, is for fuel economy. It's also a way for Chevrolet to sell this vehicle specifically without doing the gas, having to have the gas guzzler tax added to it, which can then raise the cost of the vehicle. But it's annoying. So that would be my first one. The next con that I would say, or negative, which I get, it's a sports car, it's a muscle car. We got people riding up on bikes today. Is storage space. There is no storage space on the interior of this car. The exception of the back seats, which really is not storage, but it's also not a seat either. It's gonna be, there's 2 little side slits on either door. The center console, which can fit my garage door opener, my wallet, maybe sunglasses or my phone, and then the glove box, which that's actually hilarious because the glove box barely fits the driver's manual. No joke. So storage. Now the trunk's actually a good size, but it does have a very small opening because of the taillights and how that they elected to have the trunk open up, the trunk lid. But if you want to carry really anything in this car, it's going to be the back seat or the trunk. I have a hard time even finding a place to put my cell phone. I wish that in maybe the shift console area they had just another slot or something that you could put your phone into. It seems like they could make that happen, but storage space. So, yeah. The next con that I would say would be the tires. So it's a catch-22. I like the tires, especially driving a road like this, where they just stick. On turns like this that just go forever. But they're super soft. They pick up just about everything. And they do not last that long because they're soft. As I've mentioned, I live in the desert and it gets very hot here in the summer. In the middle of summer, it can get up to 120s consistently. So these tires just are not going to last. And for the cost of these tires, that's a pretty hefty investment for the average guy like me. So I will be looking at alternatives when I have to replace these tires. I've seen some guys, of course, they're probably doing burnouts and things like that. their tires are only lasting them 78,000 miles, and that's something that I got to definitely get more life out of them than that. But tires. In association with tires, you know, attached to these beautiful rims. I love the rims on the 1LE. They haven't changed them for the last several years. I think actually since the 6th generation they've been the same. But it's the brake dust. So that would be my next con, is brake dust. The Brembo brakes, which is amazing, they stop on a dime. Especially on the 1LE, they're the 6-piston front, 4-piston back. But even just after a couple hundred miles, no joke, they are just covered in brake dust. And that means I am going to be cleaning them on a regular basis, which I'm not fond of, but to have a good looking car with these lovely rims, it means that you're going to be doing a lot of cleaning. So a lot of brake dust, which just coats the side of the car too. So I hope you enjoyed my review, so to speak, of the 2021 2SS 1LE that I absolutely love. My suggestion for any of you that are looking to buy this car, 1SS or 2SS, that is the question. Do what's within your budget. Know that you're not going to be disappointed with either one of them. But my suggestion would be, do whatever you can to get a 1LE. If you're entertaining the idea of a 1LE over an SS or maybe an LT1 that's more budgetly priced to get this amazing engine, I'd say save your pennies and get the 1LE. That's what I did, and I do not regret it. It is a joy to drive this car. Literally, I am always happy when I get in this vehicle by myself, with my wife, with my kids, whatever. So that would be my suggestion. Definitely do what you can to get a 1LE, 1SS, or 2SS. But other than that, there is so much that I love about this car. Like I said, the negatives don't even come close to outweighing that. And I think it's funny when people put, on their videos what they hate about their Camaro. There's nothing that I would say that I hate about this car. Give it maybe a couple years. We'll see if my opinion changes. We'll also see if, in the future I am able to, do more or do track with this car or, racing with this car. But right now, I'm just enjoying it on a daily level. If you're shopping for, this model, that's probably what you're looking to do too. Otherwise, you might be looking for a ZL1, going up into that next category of performance. But yes, buy it. You'll love it. My name is Aaron, also known as AA Ron with Average Hero. In this case, Average Hero Garage. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please like the video down below. If there's any comments that you want to share with me, I'd love to hear that. What are you driving? What's the car that you love? Or what's the car that you would like to have? And please subscribe to my channel. Would greatly appreciate that, because I am hoping to be sharing a lot more videos, not only about the Camaro, about stuff in the garage, but also just stuff that I fix at home on a regular basis, things I cook in the kitchen, as well as one of my passions, which is mixing stuff in my home bar. Just want to share that with all of you. Hopefully you guys get some enjoyment out of that. Other than that, enjoy your day. Please be safe. Have a great one.